Hello, thank you for joining me once again. I want to apologize for not posting a whole lot. I, like many, have been struggling. We're not really going to get into that though. We're here to sew, and I picked something super small and hopefully informative. I kind of wanted to do leggings again because I've been hearing questions about them, and I thought maybe I could offer some help. One thing that came up was the kind of material that you need. And this material is called four-way stretch, or sometimes all-way stretch. And it is very important for this specific Free Culture Japan pattern because the pattern was designed for this kind of material, and it just won't fit right. If you have like t-shirt jersey knit, it's not going to work. So make sure your fabric is correct before jumping in. The first thing I wanted to show you is a slight alteration that I've done on the base leggings pattern, which you can see here. I just add a little bit of length to the top, and to do that I used the shorts leggings pattern as a guide. It lines up super nice. I just lined up those two edges, or those two corners, and traced around the top before I even cut out my legging printout, and it was good to go. Once we have everything cut out, I sew first the front center, and then I finish the top edge with a little bit of serging. In retrospect, I didn't actually need to do this, but normally when I'm doing this pattern, I fold the top edge over by about 1/2 inch, and then I sew that into a casing, and then I thread my elastic through. I'm sure you've seen that done a million times in other videos. This time around, I decided to do it a little bit differently. Why did I do it a little differently? I'll be honest, I couldn't find my 1/4 inch elastic. And I didn't feel like dealing with it. So instead, I found this nifty fold over elastic that I really enjoy using. So this is where I make my one kind of mistake that I regret. Because the fold over elastic doesn't require a casing, my end product ended up looking a little bit too tall for my personal preference. Like, it goes way up, almost all the way to her natural waist, which is incredibly high on the Smartdolls. And as a result, it ends up so narrow that it's almost impossible to get on over her hips because there's only so much stretch in the elastic. So that's kind of my regret. I think I would have cut it actually down about 1/2 inch, just eliminating what would have been the casing, and then I think it would hit where I want it to, and I think it would go over the hips a little bit easier. But, you know, it is what it is. So once we've done the waistband, I do serge the edge of the leggings on the bottom there, and then I zigzag them so that they are folded up in a nice finished edge. And you zigzag so that you can retain some of that stretch. Once those are done, I put right sides together once again, and I stitch up the back seam. And this one, even though I usually just serge leggings, is worth reinforcing a little bit with a straight stitch. Once I have finished sewing the center back, I take the bottom of the center back seam and the bottom of the front center seam, and I make them meet. Again, keeping all your right sides facing each other. This is an important seam to match up. It will affect how things look if you get this a little off. It's not great, so be careful about that. And to the extent of sometimes people will start sewing at the center and go out, and then they'll start at the center again and go down the next foot. I haven't found that necessary since I started using a serger, which kind of auto feeds so I don't get as much stretch. But if you're having trouble with stuff stretching, that's a good way to at least even out how much stretch there is. And that's actually the end of it. So leggings are a really excellent project, especially if you want to learn how to use stretch materials. And yeah, I thought this was a pretty quick and easy thing to show you to try to get back into the swing of things. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a good one.